Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. And today I'm going to look at one of the aspects in the asset class. Of course, in the asset class, we have quite a number of categories. We basically have the real estate, we have cash and cash equivalents, we have equities, digital products, we have commodities, name it. And today I'll look at real estate, where I'm passionate in, and be able to look at one of the aspects in real estate, which is the factor of production, which is land. Of course, land becomes the foundation of all the asset class within the real estate. And when you're looking at the real estate, you're talking about industrial, you're talking about residential, you have commercial, we have agriculture, and all those aspects within the real estate asset class require land as the foundation of creating wealth around them. So today I've prepared some few notes which I'll be able to refer and be able to discuss around 10 reasons why every Kenyan should look at investing or even owning a piece of this asset class, which is a factor of production, what I'm calling land. And land in this case is basically a vast and developed piece of land, okay? Because the moment now you develop it, it either becomes a real estate, a property, or an agriculture venture. So to start with is that one critical thing that you find in land is that it remains the most reliable, okay, investment in building wealth. And one unique aspect about land is that it does not fluctuate with market conditions. That's why we talk about hedging money in land, okay? And of course, as you invest in this asset class, of course, you must do proper due diligence as part of my advocacy in this channel, trying to carry out in-depth research, in-depth investigation before you actually acquire this asset class. And why you do or get yourself in this asset class is because, number one, of course, you're not looking on short-term returns. You're not looking on a short-term race. This is an asset that once you're in it, you're basically looking at a long haul for security, for income, for capital appreciation, and even for legacy. And here are the 10 aspects why, or reasons why, you may need to put some of your monies, even as you invest in other asset class, but why you need to put some of your cash in a piece of land, which is basically a capital of production. Number one is that land is a finite resource. What do I mean by that? We are not making any more land. Whatever God created, it's not increasing, it's actually reducing. By virtue of population growth, that piece of land is reducing, because the more people get on this planet Earth, the smaller portions that you can own, okay? And with increased urbanization, even in our country, Kenya, you can actually see high demand for land, either for residential, for industrial, or even putting new urban centers. So basically what we're talking about, land is finite. You're not making it anymore. So strategically acquire land in neighborhoods that have potential for growth. And we are talking about from CBD, from where you live, whichever town you live in, look at 60 kilometer radius. That's a perfect area to be able to acquire a piece of land, it being a finite resource, okay? The other aspect is, or number two, is that land appreciate over time, okay? As I said earlier, when you invest in this asset class, you're in it for a long haul. Of course, I've seen people try to question why put money in land, and when you want to sell it, you will not find a buyer. It's because the thinking there is basically a short haul. So what I would recommend is that as you get in this asset class, you're not looking at 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. You're looking at a long haul. You're looking for an investment that you have to be patient. Okay, so basically, when you get into it, be sure it will appreciate over time. Okay, and of course there are other factors around it. In terms of location, you must due diligence on location. Where you buying the property in? If it's agriculture, where is it located? Is it accessible? If you're looking at acquiring residential property, how accessible is it? How are the amenities? So there are factors that of course you must look into even as you acquire this property or this land that will appreciate over time. Okay. Number 3, it basically protect wealth against inflation. There's nothing better to hedge your money in. Okay, because if your money is in the bank, it keep fluctuating depending on the dollar, which becomes our basis of knowing the value of your currency. So one of the best places to hedge your money is in land. Basically, it protects you against any inflation. Okay, unlike cash that lose purchasing power over time because of, in case the dollar changes in terms of its rate, this piece of land will not change. Okay, it will wait until the shilling stabilizes. So basically, once you get in this asset class, you will basically be able to protect your wealth against inflation. Okay. Number 4, it basically helps you to create multiple income streams, because if you're employed, if you're a CEO somewhere and you're running your own company, land becomes actually the most and the easiest way to create another stream of income. For example, when I left college, I bought a small piece of land along Kagundo Road, and this piece of land, basically I fit by 100. I was able to give it out on a lease, a long-term lease. Of course, then I was only given 20k per month on it because it was just near highway, and 20,000, basically that was my rent. So I was basically having a source of income that would secure my shelter, and as I get my other salaries, it will be used for other ventures. So basically, it helps you create multiple streams of income, because number 1, of course, you buy a piece of land, you develop some rentals, and there's cash flow from that point of view. You can buy that piece of land and put some livestock that will give you some return over time. Okay, so it basically help you create an income stream. Of course, you put workers into it, you put some systems into it, so that at least the efficiency around having that income stream is reliable. Okay, of course, you must be there on a frequent timelines, maybe once a week, twice a week, to be able to supervise what is happening on that asset or the business that you have put on that piece of land. Number 5, land offers flexibility. What do I mean by this? If you buy a piece of land today and you have your title in your pocket, it allows you time. Okay, you don't need to build immediately, you don't need to develop it immediately. It allows you time to be able to develop some capital or some cash, to be able to develop it later. Okay, or be able to do something on it. So that kind of flexibility, without someone asking you, why is this land not giving you something? Okay, but in your mind, you know, at least I've secured the first level of capital, which is land. So even as you move towards the next level of adding value on that piece of land, you're not on a shotgun. You basically give yourself timelines, you basically give yourself targets when you want to develop this piece of land, either lease it or even basically hold it for a long time, for long term, so that at least you're able to benefit on capital gain. Basically, number 5 is that land offers flexibility. Okay, Number six, which is actually one of the unique aspects of land, is that it can be leveraged for financing, something I call collateralization. Okay, land can be used as a collateral when you want to take a mortgage, when you want to borrow money and pump into your business. It can help you secure a line of credit in a bank. So what you just need to do is get your title into the bank, have a valuer do the valuation, then have a charge on it. Okay? And what you do is that you don't need to break that charge. Every time you're almost done with payment, renew the charge, revalue, so that every time, every 3 years, 5 years, the bank captures the current value of that asset, so that subsequently you're able to secure financing, you're able to secure money from that bank using that asset we are calling land. So basically, land is the best place to put your money to leverage it for characterization. There's nothing beautiful like that you can get out here. Okay. Number 7, it basically leaves a lasting legacy. Okay. There's no better way to pass your legacy, or basically to pass an inheritance to your generations, to your children. Okay. As Africans, we believe in bequeathing our children something. And one of the most secure assets that you can bequeath your child is a piece of land. Okay? You may be having a big business, you may be having some sort of assets, or some sort of, let's say not even assets, your own knowledge. Once you pass or leave this world, you go with your knowledge. But if you've left some piece of land somewhere, it's something you can able to hand over. And as I said, land is flexible. Your children will be able to put up an asset or a property on that piece of land, basically helping you integrate wealth and financial security around securing your family. Okay. Number 8 is that infrastructure creates wealth around that piece of land. You may have bought a piece of land out of town, 10 kilometers away, 20 kilometers away. But every time there's growth, there are new roads which are put, there are new bypasses, the railway line, as we've seen in our country, Kenya. Okay? And what happens when this infrastructure come next to this piece of land that you bought out of town? By default, it creates wealth around that piece of land, because the value will basically appreciate. And there's no brainer on that. And that's why we talk about buying and waiting. And as I said earlier, look on an asset that is within 60-80 kilometer radius from an urban center. That's a perfect area to be able to put money on a piece of land. Okay? Number 9 is that you have a greater control. When you have a piece of land, your title is in the pocket. Unlike stocks, cryptocurrencies, which you must depend on someone else to be able to make value out of them so that they can give you a return, on a piece of land, you just basically to take time and improve, add value on it, put an asset, a commercial in nature, a residential in nature, and you're able to generate your cash flow out of it. And even doing a simple thing as leasing it out, either for a short-term lease or a long-term lease, and even do some agricultural activities commercially. This gives you a lot of control, because you have direct decision making on what is done on that piece of land. Okay. And the last one is that real estate reward patience. As I said earlier, this is a kind of an asset class that you must be patient. It's not a short term, it's a long haul. Okay. And the greater return comes over time, as the area point out about infrastructure. You buy land today, within 10, 20 years, there are a lot of dynamics that would have changed within that neighborhood in terms of infrastructure, the population growth, the pressure from the urban center, okay? And the moment you're patient, real estate will reward. So basically, what is critical around this asset class is doing what we call proper due diligence. You buy wise, okay? And then you hold quality assets over a long period of time. And so doing, you'll be able to accrue benefits on this asset class I call real estate. Thank you very much. Take a minute to subscribe to my page and also share this information to your colleagues so that we're able to make more materials around this asset class I call real estate. Thank you very much.